Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Game Week 27 Captaincy Discussion Special. It's a slightly different format for this week's show, but as ever, Kieran and I are here to share our thoughts on the upcoming weekend of action. It's been a little bit of a break since we last sat down to talk about FPL, so have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been nice. I've barely looked at anything at all, so yeah, it's been good. But yeah, trying to think about all the blanks and doubles and all that stuff now, so yeah, getting back into it.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover in the upcoming week. So just to sort of preface tonight's show, we're going to talk about captaincy only because we're close to the deadline. And in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have more of a focused show on the blanks and doubles and how we're going to navigate them. So should we get straight into tonight's show by having a look at Game Week 26 and how you got on? Because I think, well, someone's very happy, weren't you?
I was happy, yeah, back on track. So 90 points. Way above the average, is on 157. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Foster doing the business again with a nice differential clean sheet as well, 10 points. Robertson, Pogba with his double. Put the captain on the wrong person, which should have been Sterling, but Sterling got Sterling in there as well. Mane came in for a hit for Sane, and he instantly repaid. So that was good. And yeah, felt good, to be honest. So it was a 40k-ish green arrow from 123k to 81k. So yeah, all good last week. So happy with that.
Yeah, that midfield just blew everything away, didn't it? Really.
Yep.
Yeah, 18 points Sterling. Like you say, you debated it, hadn't you, the whole week about what to do with Sane, whether you wanted to take a hit to transfer him out, and I was against it. But yeah, it came in for you, so that was really. And he could have had more as well.
Yeah, just felt like I needed to go a little bit more aggressive last week. So yeah, it paid off, fortunately.
Yeah, it did. And you did the Match of the Day challenge, didn't you?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah, it felt good. You know, watching that first game with the I think it was the United game, and yeah, actually no, it was the Liverpool game with Mane, Salah, and Robertson all returning. I was just like, okay, this feels pretty good right now. And then the next game was Pogba getting 2 goals. I was like, all right, this is maybe I'll do this more often.
Yeah, it worked out well. It was just that Kolasinac sort of meltdown from 12 to 2 points in the space of a few minutes.
I could have been in the 100 club, and even the last game of Jimenez, I felt kind of confident he might do something, and he did look close, or did get close, but it wasn't to be. But never mind. Maybe next week. Maybe this week.
Maybe next week. I was sort of let down by Sane. I mean, it seemed like he was always going to be a little bit of a risk after being taken off against Everton and not coming in the game before that. Yep. So yeah, to have him and Rashford missing out, that was quite like a big portion of my attacking lineup. So when you're having Højbjerg and Alonso of his minus point coming off the bench, it was quite a disappointing game week in the end. 57, that's just bang on average. And yeah, Wolves didn't really turn up, did they? I had quite a lot still going into Monday night with Doherty and Jimenez there, so I thought I might get something, but wasn't to be. Poor game week, so I think I dropped about 20k places, maybe from 38 to 58k, so try and bounce back this week, but it's going to be a bit trickier, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's going to be a tough week, I think.
Yeah, so we'll get straight into the preview for this week. It's a smaller game week, as everyone's probably aware by now, so that's because Man City, Chelsea, Everton and Brighton all have a blank game week. That's because of Man City and Chelsea playing in the League Cup final. And we were talking about it in the week, weren't we, that the pool of captainable players, I'd say, has reduced quite a lot because United are playing Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea players are unavailable. So we thought it's a good idea to sort of sit down and in a game week where there's potentially fewer options, who are the better ones really. So we'll jump straight in, Keith, with your pick. It looks like it's on Son at the moment. How easy has it been to come to that conclusion?
It's not been easy, of course, because I think he's probably the standout of all of them, but it seems maybe safe in a way. Mm-hmm. Burnley away seems like a great fixture on paper, but obviously Burnley have gotten a little bit better recently since Heaton's come back in the team, but they look like they're worse at home than they are away. So Son, who's just a points machine at the moment, and is just even scoring in the Champions League against Dortmund in that thrashing of 3-0. He's obviously on form. He's had plenty of rests before this game. Can't see why he won't continue, really. Maybe he's only going to get 1 goal, but I think maybe that's enough because I can't really see him as going crazy. I don't know. But yeah, he seems like the best of the bunch. And obviously I don't have any Arsenal attackers, which is obviously a great fixture as well. So, yeah, he seems to be my go-to. His last 5 fixtures have been 13, 2, 9, 11 and 6. 4 goals, 1 assist. Clean sheet points and extra point for a goal. Yeah, seems better than Jimenez to me. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you're bang on with Son in terms of his form. So it's only 3 blanks in his last 15 games and 48 points in his last 4 away against teams outside the top 6. So that's incredible. 12 points. I mean, that's boosted massively by that 21-point haul he got against Everton. He's averaging quite a lot of shots away from home, which is great to see, over 2. But my only sort of like a downside to it is just Burnley's form seems to be picking up a little bit, and they can be difficult to play against. They haven't lost in their last 7 now. Admittedly, they do always concede a lot of shots at home.
I mean, the caveat to that is that, last year when everyone was kind of getting rid of Kane, they went to Burnley and he got a hat-trick when Burnley were good and keeping lots of clean sheets. So they can give away like 3-4 goals, even though they've had this upturn in form. I don't see why not. Like, Spurs are a good team, like we've seen in the past in history.
Do you think I know sort of Burnley have had a good run, like you say, Spurs have had a good upturn in form. But do you not just think it's just one of those tricky games, turf more away? Just they're on a bit of a rise at the moment, or do you really see it quite cut and dried that Spurs are just going to come in and get the win here?
No, I don't see it cut and dry. It is a risk. But like I just said, like Kane did it that year when Burnley were doing well. So I don't see why it can't happen again. And Son is looking so confident and looks like Kane will be back for this fixture as well. And that has only seemed to have helped Son get points and goals. And, Kane's putting through balls to him where he can run behind the defence. So, yeah, I fancy him. So I think it'll probably stay on him. Just, I don't know, unless you can convince me of Jimenez.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to convince you of Jimenez. That was an early transfer or an early feeling sort of after the last game week that I thought they'd have a good game against Bournemouth, but even I'm not sure of that myself now. I think Spurs is a great option. The fact that he's been used so well by Poch in his away games, and he's only blanked once in away games since game week 11 is just crazy. And the fact we're coming into game week 27 now, it's just his form has been consistent. And the game he did blank in I think it was like game week 14 or 15, it's only because he came on as sub. Yep. So his consistency in those away games. I just got, a funny feeling about the Burnley game. I did call earlier in the week that I fancied Burnley to win this one. I just think it's going to be like a difficult game for Spurs. That's why. Oh yeah, I can't commit.
I can't see Burnley scoring. That's for sure. I think maybe you can captain like Trippier or something like that, or Rose if depending on which one plays. I think Trippier probably will play because I don't think he played in Champions League, as far as I remember. So yeah, I think Trippier will play. And I can see him getting an assist or something in this game, and probably a clean sheet.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think. Would you say that Son's sort of main competitor for captaincy this week is Aubameyang, who neither of us own? Because I've got big fear of missing out there.
Yeah, I would say so. Or Lacazette. Well, obviously, ownership-wise, I think Aubameyang, but I'm more scared of Lacazette, to be honest.
Are you? Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
Mainly because Lacazette was sent off in Europa, so he's guaranteed to start. Aubameyang might be kind of rested, maybe. Might not get the full 90. Probably not, but... I just feel like consistency lately, Lacazette has looked way better. His points in the last 5 has been 2, 8, 7, 2 and 9, which is 28 points, 3 goals, no assists. Compared to Aubameyang, who's got 2, 2, 12, 2 and 0. So that's 1 goal and 1 assist, which is 18 points. So Lacazette's 10 points clear of him. And considering that Lacazette was sent off in Europa, he's nailed on to start in this. I feel like he's just going to be a bit more consistent, and he's in the centre compared to Aubameyang, where he's often on the left, and he's going to be poaching those goals against Southampton. So I feel like he is the one I'm more scared of not owning, to be honest.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Interest in Lacazette has picked up quite a bit because of, I think also in part due to Aubameyang's illness before that Huddersfield game.
Yes.
Like a lot of people were keen to just get some sort of Arsenal coverage, and Lacazette ended up being a great choice. And like we talked about on the, the, the show last time out, he seems to be keeping pace with Lacazette at the moment. And I think that the red card of him getting sent off, meaning he misses tonight, is sort of in his favour for starting the weekend. But Emery's been relying on Aubameyang recently. I don't think he's missed like a Premier League minute since like game week 16 or 17, maybe even before that.
And Aubameyang likes to bully the bad teams,
does.
Kind of like Lukaku used to.
Yeah. Well, he's got 39 points in his last. This is Aubameyang. He's got 39 points in his last 4 against teams outside the top 6. So that's nearly 10 points per game there.
Yep.
I mean, that's a captainable return in any of those games. And Saints' away form is woeful. So they've conceded on average 15 shots away from home in their last 5 games, and they've only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 12 away. So I mean, I think they're due. I'd say a 2-3 goal margin win, Arsenal, in this one.
I mean, for me, if you had a feeling about Burnley. I've got a feeling that Southampton might just keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah, just I don't know why. Maybe just because I'm playing Bednarek or forced to, but I think I just fancy them slightly.
Who would you say Højbjerg's going to get on the end of things? Yeah.
What, in terms of scoring? Probably not.
And what, Kieran?
I reckon it'll be a 0-0.
0-0.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see how Arsenal come out of this Europa League game tonight, because we've seen in previous seasons that how teams struggle playing Thursday, Sunday, Europa League, Premier League, and Arsenal look like they've played almost a full strength team tonight.
Yeah,
I'd say it's
3-0. So.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they should have won in that first leg really, because playing. But the fact that they played tonight, they played a pretty strong team, and then they got Southampton at home. Wouldn't be surprised to see a few surprises or a few rotations come Saturdays, and that can always. Come Sunday, and that can always sort of change the balance, can't it?
Yeah, which is upsetting for me because Kohler wasn't playing tonight, which makes me slightly worried. Monreal back, probably first choice, but I hope he's going to play maybe like a wing-back role, so further up the pitch. Yeah. I think he's played pretty much all the games lately, and Emery seems to like him, so maybe it's a rest.
Yeah.
I could be disappointed if he doesn't start, because it looks like a decent chance of a clean sheet and a few assists in that game for Kohler.
All right, so if I had to nail you to a definite option, who would you rather have captaincy this weekend out of Aubameyang and Lacazette?
Lacazette for me.
Lacazette, okay, interesting. All right. So outside the Son, Lacazette, and Aubameyang sphere of captaincy options, do you see anyone in the United Liverpool game that's worth considering, or do you think that's going to be such a tight game that you wouldn't want to go either way on it?
I wouldn't. I think it'll probably be something like 1-1, something like that. Maybe like a 2-1. I kind of fancy United to win, but I can't tell you who's going to score. Salah hasn't scored against any of the top 6 sides this season, so I can't really see
away.
Salah. Yeah. Oh, is it just away? Is it?
Yeah, I think
okay,
he scored.
Away at Old Trafford doesn't sound good for him. He was pretty poor against Bayern in the Champions League, so can't see him doing too much. Mane looked pretty lively in the Champions League.
He did,
So I'm happy to own him, but not going to say he's going to get many points this weekend, so he's probably not captainable. Pogba maybe if you really want to risk it, but it's a tough fixture. And there's better options out there that you probably already have in your team, like Jimenez, like Son. Yeah. So
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game week, or low-scoring average this week, just because of that United-Liverpool game. I think there's a lot of popular assets. Like, we've got quite a few of them covered in our teams: Robertson, Trent, Salah, Mane, Pogba, Rashford. I think
they've got 5.
Yeah, so I think a lot of teams are going to be in a similar position. So when you've got 5 players playing in one fixture, and they're all pretty much all premium players, unless that game is a goal fest of epic proportion, it's gonna be a quiet game week. Well, I'm similar to you. I don't see a Salah captaincy as an option, but Pogba has been tempting me. The more I look at it this week, he scored 6 goals in United's last 4 home games, which is really good record. And we know he had a poor game. Well, not a poor game. United had a poor game against PSG. Difficult one for them. Obviously, Pogba getting sent off wasn't ideal, but he played out of his skin on Monday night against Chelsea in the FA Cup, got the goal and the assist. And at the moment, he is United's big game player. And if there's a penalty, if there's a free kick, Pogba's got the confidence at the moment to step up and put those away. So I think, let's be honest, United are not going to want to get beat by Liverpool in their race for the Champions League. The crowd are going to be going loopy. on Sunday, and the atmosphere is going to. I hope the atmosphere is going to be insane, and I think Pogba and the rest of the United team are just going to feed off that. And I can see United scoring 1 or 2. I mean, was it 2-0 or 2-1? They beat Liverpool at home last season. Granted, it was a different squad. I know Rashford scored a great goal inside. I think they scored 2 inside the first half an hour. And regardless, I think Pogba's form and the way United have been playing under Ole also coincide a little bit with Liverpool's last away performance against West Ham. I think Pogba's a good option this week.
Yeah, that's why I've got him vice. So I have considered him. It's just going to go down to the wire, I think, between those two. And maybe Jimenez. I don't know. Yeah. It's really tough, honestly. It's a toss the coin sort of thing, because they're just, it's like one sort of tough fixture and then the other one looks like it's clean, cut and dry, but kind of isn't. So yeah.
And it's a weekend where captaincy is really going to matter as well, because like we said, with all these teams, or United and Liverpool playing each other, Man City and Chelsea options not available. If you fluff a captaincy option in a low-scoring game week, and so there is someone, like if Son does pick up a 10-point game week, or Jimenez picks up a 10-point game week at Bournemouth, which they're both capable of doing, you're going to be slipping and sliding way down those ranks. So yeah, it's really important. Cool. So outside of I'd say Salah, Pogba and Salah are sort of secondary tier. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone you'd even want to consider or talk about outside of those guys?
What, in that game or?
No, just in the rest of the fixtures this weekend.
Okay, I think you'll probably be interested. Is Felipe Anderson? I think he's an attractive option with a decent fixture, and obviously they're not going to blank at all in 31 or 33. Mm-hmm. So yeah. He's obviously wasn't the flavour of the month for a long time. He's a lot of people got rid of him, but now looks like the time to bring him back in, because he's obviously nailed on in that team. Mm-hmm. A lot of comparisons seem to be happening between him and Maddison, but Maddison is definitely not nailed on, whereas Anderson is. And Anderson's points earlier in the season were coming against lower green FDR rated teams, and he's got that run of fixtures coming back up now. Fulham at home looks great for him. He's not in form right now. He's had 4 blanks and 1 assist in the last 5. So if you want to risk it, but it could be explosive. He could do really well there, to be honest.
He scored in the reverse game, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah,
against Fulham, and I mean Fulham were woeful against Manchester United, like so bad. From about 60th minute on, if United had been playing. I mean, they were saving energy ahead of the PSG game, but if they were going at it, it could have been a cricket score. It looked like the Fulham players had given up by about 60th minute, and they play like that against West Ham, and Arnautovic and Anderson are flying. It could easily be a 3-4 goal game. So Anderson's likely to be my transfer this week for Sane, and he's a consideration, but it's the form thing a little bit that sort of puts me off. Like you say, I think he's got 3 returns in 9, and before that he'd had 3 returns in 2. So
yeah, you can't ever really be confident in him hauling, can you? Like it's just roll of the dice. He might do it, he might not. Like you can't sort of go with stats on him really. He's a full on risk basically.
He's a full on risk. Yeah. No, he's someone I've been looking at, as well as Arnautovic. So, I mean, he's been in and out of the team. I was having a look down his minutes played, and it's just been all over the show for the last 2 months. But the only 2 home games he started and finished, sort of his last 2, he's returned double-digit point scores. So, if he can be wheeled out for 90 minutes tomorrow, I could easily see him getting another double-digit haul against Fulham.
Yeah,
easily.
And obviously, I've mentioned it before, but Lanzini is back now. And
that's good.
I would like to see him come off the bench in this game. I don't think he'll start, but if he does, then possibly down the line of these good fixtures after the City game, after next week, then he could be a great option to bring in instead of Anderson. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think after that City game, they got a great run, and they're playing in 31 and 33. So I think Anderson's at a good price. Good fixtures. I think he seems like he just hasn't got that form. But like you say, if he's going to put it on against the teams in the bottom half of the table, it's a good opportunity to start.
Yep. slightly worried about not having him, but what could you? Can't have them all.
Yeah. Is there any other options? Because I think I've exhausted all my list. My other little small pick was Rondon.
Well, Jimenez, we haven't really talked about him.
No, we haven't. Do you think he's got a good chance down at Bournemouth?
Yeah, I think this is a game that stinks or reeks of possible hauls for Jimenez and Bournemouth. It could be, or Wolves, sorry, could be, a whitewash maybe. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Jimenez maybe slightly isn't in form again. Like he looked like he was sort of in form for a while, and now he's had 2 blanks in his last 2 games. Even though he looked good against Newcastle, he didn't look all that great in the FA Cup. So yeah, I think again that's a risky pick, but with him and Jota running at Bournemouth, who are probably going to attack, they're going to go on the counter attack, Wolves, and I think that suits them with Jota's pace and Jimenez, usually quite reliable up there, and Doherty as well, bombing down that flank, who's basically a third striker. Yeah, I think they could do well. It could be a whitewash, or it could just be a blank. It could go either way, just like with Anderson at West Ham.
Yeah. No, I haven't got enough confidence to leave it on Jimenez. It in my mind, it feels great, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to go through with it.
So yours is either Son or Pogba?
It's either going to be Son or Pogba, yeah. I am leaning towards Pogba because I think I'll enjoy watching the game more with him captain, but yeah, it's a really tough one to call this week. Really tough one to call. Cool, all right. Is there any more you want to add on?
Doherty's worth a shout of captaincy?
Oh, gosh. Well, he's in crazy FA Cup form, isn't he?
Yeah.
Crazy FA Cup form, but until that comes back to the Premier League again, I haven't got that.
It's the fixture to do it, no? Against an attacking Bournemouth team at home who are going to want to win this game.
No, my play it safe side of my brain is saying, no way. If it was at home against Bournemouth this game week, then I'd consider it.
This is assuming Doherty's even fit.
Yeah.
I think he is, but... Yeah.
They put that flag on it just to worry me. Make me think I've got to make a transfer.
Yep.
Right. Okay, cool. Right. We're doing a new feature, guys, from this week, which we're starting right now. We're going to call it the Cougar Cup Pick. And basically, Kieran and I are going to pick a player every week that neither of us own to compete off against each other to see who can get the most points this week. Sounds simple. It probably is going to be really simple as well. So, Keek, who's your pick?
Lacazette.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good pick.
Yep.
You didn't tell me, see, and I told you. Okay. I'm going to pick Arnautovic. Balls, I should have thought more about this. Okay, anyway, so we're going to see how that goes
you can
next.
go Aubameyang if you want.
No, it can't. Sticking with what's his name? Arnautovic. Okay, all right. So we're just going to keep that going until the end of the season and see and just check in on it every week. Make us feel good about ourselves, because even when we miss out on points, we've still got our little Cougar Cup pick to make us feel good about ourselves.
Yep.
Right, very good. Okay, so short show tonight. We just want to talk about captaincy options. We're going to be back before game week 27, which is happening middle of the week next week, isn't it? On Tuesday, Wednesday next week, I think. I think it's a midweek game week.
Like that, yep.
Yeah, so we're organise another preview show, more in depth. We're going to do fixture by fixture and get back on board as we do the run into the end of the season. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Have a great game week. If you've got any questions about your team before game week 27 deadline, which is going to be about, well, it's coming up shortly basically from whenever you're watching this video, and yeah, just pop them in the YouTube channel or tweet us and we'll get back to you ASAP. So until next week, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers and good luck.
Bye-bye.